Dr. Irwin Jackson, 1341 Jackson Bluff. Last week, City Commissioner Ziffer voted to implement a proposed ethics policy as written. Our community recognizes and appreciates his effort to return honesty and ethical behavior to this commission.
1302 is the electric building.
It's 1302, Mr.
And honest,
Jackson.
I'll be glad to tie this all together for you, Mr. Mayor, but if we can strike that interruption so I get my full 3 minutes, I appreciate it. An honest person has nothing to fear from an ethics policy. Other commissioners stated that they could not find the $200,000 to establish an ethics policy, an ethics office. Surprisingly, they were able to find $3 million to subsidize the development of a brew pub for secret investors. No money for an ethics officer, yet plenty of money for a brew pub. The city is spending $3 million to enter into a business agreement with a front man, Adam Corey, and other unnamed secret investors, and no one seems to see a problem. We need an ethics officer, I think, in the worst of ways. Last week, we learned that Scott Maddox had lobbied for and provided legal services to a convicted felon who stole $300 million from disabled veterans, and not a single commissioner spoke. It's critical that every person who has a financial interest in this brew pub be fully disclosed before any agreement is signed. This brew pub is being subsidized by the city, and its operation must be open and transparent. Who knows? These silent investors may be Scott's business partners, and maybe that's where some of that $300 million went.
I'll say something.
However, I strongly recommend that the city not get involved in the operation and liability of a brew pub. I agree with Commissioner Ziffer that the location and neighborhood restrictions will certainly result in the failure of this proposed bar. Therefore, if the city continues in its foolhardy venture, they should take steps to minimize their losses in the future. Specifically, any agreement should state that Mr. Corey's $1.5 million worth of tables, chairs, and equipment will become the property of the city if his business fails. Finally, the city is charging approximately $2,500 in rent to Mr. Corey for 6,000 square feet of commercial building. The proposed rent should be at fair market value. The proposed rate is a fraction of the real market. In conclusion, the city should not be in the brew pub business and should not be subsidizing secret business partners. And I appreciate each of you.